And our first guest is from Marion, Ohio. And those of you who watch the show may have seen a few authors recently that were from Marion, Ohio, and part of the Peace and Freedom Committee that they formed that allows authors to create their work. And also it's children's books they're focusing on initially. I don't know if that will be their purpose or their charge going forward, their focus. But Lora Troutman, who we have with us tonight, is the brainchild, so to speak, behind the whole effort. And so, Lora Troutman, welcome to Black Authors Matter TV.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here tonight.
It's an honor to have you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, did I describe you correctly? You are it's your brainchild. That's what I meant.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Me and God.
Yeah, and that's where these big ideas come from. The book festival and this show.
Yes.
Both were a God-inspired idea. They were both God-inspired ideas. So, Lora, tell us a little bit about your background and what led you to the point of forming the Peace and Freedom Committee.
Well, I worked at Whirlpool for 39 years, and the last several years that I worked there, I would wake up. Columbus is the largest or one of the largest celebration of the Martin Luther King breakfast. And I would watch that in the mornings. I'd be like, we're 45 minutes north of Columbus, Ohio. So I'm like, why are we not celebrating the national holiday, Martin Luther King? So that really pondered with me, and just God just put it in my spirit to write a letter. So I wrote a letter to 5 women, and we met downtown at Charleston's place, and that's how it all started. It first was the Martin Luther King breakfast celebration, but then we decided that kept us in a box. So then it changed to a Peace and Freedom Committee, nonprofit organization, probably 5 years later.
Okay, letter writing is a lost art.
It is.
But I've accomplished so many things by writing letters.
Well, I think there's something special about a handwritten letter. It doesn't feel generated. It doesn't feel like AI. It doesn't feel scary. Somebody actually took the time and thought to write you. So it does. It's just a whole different.
And I still have that original letter.
That's awesome.
I wrote that in 2007.
People don't get letters anymore. They get emails.
No,
have you framed the letter? Have you framed the letter, since this is what started?
I have not, but I still have it. Yes, I should.
Yeah, the letters can, for those who don't write them or don't think that they're impactful in this environment, because they're rare, they make an impact.
Yes,
they get people's attention. People read them. And if you send it to a large organization, normally if you send it to the person at the top or decision maker, their assistant is reading their letters and presenting them with things that are important or things that they should be aware of. And so you would be surprised what people get. My daughter got out of school debt-free because I wrote letters. I wrote letters asking for money. I didn't just take no or the little amount. I wrote a letter and made my case that we needed more. And this is how great she is. And please reconsider.
Right.
But you have to make your case, and you have to, it needs to be grammatically correct and all of that. And it's helpful if you are a writer, just, a person who writes regularly, because then the words come to you. But letters, writing, and you can always dictate it and then type it later. Like some people, would rather do audio and then take that and then type it on the computer and print it out. It's a lost art. Try it. I have gotten so many things done because I wrote letters. So anyway,
you writing a letter really it really started a whole movement for you.
Right.
Yes, it did.
Now, how did
17 years in.
The five people that you contacted, were they already friends of yours, or were they people you knew already, or were
people I knew? But you have to know people, you know, their hearts, and someone that's going to capture that vision. And the ladies I contacted, you know, they did.
Right.
Okay, now are they the people that are part of the writers group, or this is a whole different group?
This is a whole different group. Now, the ladies with the books, Rhea Edmonds and myself were co-founders of Peace and Freedom Publications. And then again, you know, we wrote letters and contacted these ladies. It might have been through emails. I can't remember about that, but they were so excited, you know, to be a part of this. And two of the ladies are not even members of the Peace and Freedom Committee. So they started out with three books, well, three groups, and they were Phyllis Wheatley, I can't remember, Zora Houston, and Octavia Butler. That's how the group started. But then as the ladies faded away, we ended up with 6 authors and 6 books, and all proceeds go back to support the nonprofit organization. So this is amazing that these ladies believe in the Peace and Freedom Committee to dedicate their time, write these books, and all proceeds to go back to support, you know, the nonprofit organization.
This is the importance of having like-minded friends. You don't have to have something in common with everybody, but when you have people who believe in the same thing you do, it makes it so much easier when you start something like this.
Absolutely.
Were you kind of surprised when you got so many positive responses?
Yes. I'm still at awe. People even ask me about the Peace and Freedom Committee, the nonprofit organization. How do you feel? But I'm just so busy constantly thinking about the next event, what we can do, that I just really haven't settled in me. 17 years we've been in existence in Marion, Ohio. That's just amazing.
Yeah, that's
a lot of great things happening in Ohio.
Yes.
Yeah, that number 17 is personal for me, because we celebrated the 17th anniversary of the National Black Book Festival this year.
Yes, you did.
So, 17 years, it goes by really fast.
Yeah, especially when you're constantly working, trying to find out what to do next. Who do you contact? Letters and getting funding. Yes.
Yeah, and then you have to maintain your creativity, because you don't want whatever you're doing to, get stale. You want to stay on, with the trends.
Yes.
Stay on top of where things are going, so you can be relevant all the time.
So tell us about the books that are part of this movement.
Okay, so my book here is called Color Me Friend, and it's in English and Spanish.
I noticed that.
Yes. So I just wanted kids in Marion. Well, the title of our book thing is Marion Looks Like Me, because there's a population of over maybe 35,000 in Marion, and the population of Blacks is like 1.58%. So we just wanted to write books that some of the stories about life stories that have happened in Marion, Ohio, and just want the kids of Marion to know that, you can write a book. You're never too young, you're never too old. So one of the pages says, if my eyes could talk, they would say, be my friend. So we had 2 young men looking at each other. And then on the opposite page, you color your friend as you see your friend.
Oh, nice.
And yes, another one is, if my ears could talk, they would say, I hear the kind words you say. So again, here's the picture, and then they color. And the crayons also have like face colored crayons.
Yeah.
So that the kids can color their faces. Yes, that's a
face painting.
Yes. So that was my book. And I was inspired because after I retired from Whirlpool, I was a school bus aide. And I would see how the kids were so separated, like because you're Black, the white kids might not want to sit with them, or, vice versa. So it just kind of pricked my spirit. Again, everything that I do is always God given to me. So we just put that in my spirit, color me friend. I'm like, okay, color me friend, what am I gonna do with that? So he just guided me through that.
And where did you get the pictures that you included in your book?
Well, the ones on the front cover, I contacted some parents and they all signed contracts for their kids to participate again and take pictures and not get compensated. And then the kids in the inside, most of them go to my church, Logos Christian Ministries here in Marion, Ohio. So we hired a photographer out of Columbus, Ohio, and she came to Marion and we went down to different areas, to the parks, to the schools, downtown at the courthouse, and we took pictures. Took a whole day, but it was fun.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Okay. So I was wondering about the same thing. How did you like pick the kids, or how did you decide which scenes and that kind of thing to go along with it? Had you already written the book when you took the photos, or did?
Yes, I had written the book, and then I contacted the photographer, and then she's familiar with Marion. She used to live here, but she moved to Columbus as she graduated from high school. So she came back here and she picked out the different locations that we went to.
Okay. Now you have, I think, is it you and 5 authors, I think?
Yes, ma'am.
That have written the children's book. So what do you all have planned for what you do now? Are you going to do another set of children's books, or what have you thought down the road in terms of what to do next?
A couple of them. Now I know Kimba, which is who's coming on next. I'll let her tell her story, but she had started a second book. And when she approached me, I was like, Kimba, because we told the ladies, okay, this is an opportunity for you to, help the Peace and Freedom Committee, but this opens a road for you to, write a book for yourself. So I asked Kimba, I said, so is this book for Peace and Freedom Committee, or are you writing this book for yourself? She goes, no, I'm writing the second book for Peace and Freedom Committee. So, and then Kathleen Clemens, you have already interviewed her. So she's starting a second book also. So we have some more books that's going to be coming forward, in the future. So I haven't decided what I want to do next. I'm just praying and just waiting.
So you haven't even decided whether it's going to be another coloring book, or do you want to?
I don't think it's going to be I don't know. I really don't know. I thought about it, but I really don't know. Just have to have that ear to hear from God, see what he gives me. So yes.
So how do you all promote the books? I know some of the authors have been on the show, but locally, are you doing things locally to promote the books?
We are local. We started in Columbus because Stephanie Bridges, she's our publisher out of Columbus, and that's who we connected with to publish all of our books. So she had 2 events in Columbus that we attended. And then Valerie Coleman invited us to an event in Dayton, Ohio. And Kimba's been back to Dayton several times. I've been in George Washington School twice. And Kathleen Clemens, she invited me out to Tribe Rivers Career Center. I did books out there. So we are doing a book signing at our building, November the 23rd. We have a building that was gifted to us by Pillar Credit Union here in Marion. So we will be doing our open house book signing there. And then I got a phone call yesterday from my husband's friend, Mike Zucker, and he supports Marion community, especially people of color. And he wants me to do a book signing there, I think November the 16th. So we're getting out here in Marion, the churches, we're getting flyers out. So we got some events planned for next year.
So Kimba, I'm going to say your name wrong, and I hope I don't. Kimba Mohub said that it's so cool. Yeah, said it's so cool for children to see themselves in this book. Is that kind of no matter what type of book is going to be created after this down the line, should they always be books where kids can see themselves?
Yes, and that's very important for Marion because our kids in Marion, they don't see people of color like in businesses or, school teachers, it's very few. So when they are taken outside of Marion, we have freedom writers at our church, Logos Christian Ministries, and they take the kids to see this at the HBCU colleges, and they just came back from Memphis. So even when they go to Cleveland or Cincinnati and see people of colors in position, they are like amazed because we don't see that in Marion. So that's why we want to publish these books, with people of color, so that our kids in Marion can see themselves and reflect, that I can do that too, you know, even at our age, you know, who would have thought I would be writing a book, you know, at my age, but you know, with God, all things are possible. But we want the kids of Marion to see themselves in this book and encourage them to be a part of the Peace and Freedom publication, book writing also.
Okay. And you have the 5 authors, which is good because you all can help each other with the marketing.
Yes.
And, you know, you're not by yourselves trying to promote books, because being an author, it can be very isolating. It is a it's a personal exercise in terms of it's solitary. When you write, generally you're doing it by yourself when you write your own book. And a lot of times you don't want distraction. So you have to go to a place where you're a quiet place. It could be in your home. Some people go to other places. Some people go to not so quiet places. I know people go to Starbucks and write. I hear that from authors. But I can't.
I've gone to Starbucks and write. I think it really depends on it really depends on your concentration levels sometimes. And sometimes people like going to a place like a Starbucks or any type of coffee house because there's so many other people there working too. It almost feels like a co-working space. And sometimes you can draw that inspiration because so many people are doing something, whether it's homework, whether it's writing, whether they're teleworking, they're doing something. So you feel like you're a part of that community. It makes you want to work a little bit more.
Yeah. We started writing meeting back in 2020 right before COVID. Then when COVID came in, we were having Zoom meetings like back to back, like every 2 weeks and then once a month. So
yeah, we're probably
we
tired
did
of
that all through the COVID. Yes, we were, you know, writing, you know.
Yeah. A lot of books came out of COVID. And a lot of people that come on the show said they started writing during COVID for all kinds of reasons. Either, you know, they were just motivated or they didn't have anything, you know, they were
nothing to do. You couldn't go nowhere.
Right. Couldn't go anywhere. So
might as well write.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask a question about Marion because the Black population is so small.
Very small.
How did the Black people who are there get there? If that makes sense. Does that
a lot of them came up from the South because there were a lot of factories in Marion. Back in the day, there was lots of work, and you can leave one factory and go to another one. But that's how a lot of Blacks came to Marion for work.
Okay, so it's kind of like that whole migration during that period that's described in Isabel Wilkerson's book, The Warmth of Other Suns, where she describes that whole period, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, in there, where a lot of Black people migrate.
There may be a migration now, but it seems like there's a boom right now because there's so many great things. You mentioned Valerie Coleman earlier, the Pen of the Writer conference, which I was so happy to see that she was still doing. I'm not sure if she's still doing it now, is she?
Yes.
Yeah. So
she changed the name to it's a children, it's BIPOC, I think.
Yeah, well, just the fact that she's continuing to do that, because that was like one of the first festivals I went to when I first became an author 20 years ago. So she's doing a lot of great things in Ohio. I've met a number of authors and entrepreneurs coming out of Ohio. So it's like there's a boom, like a cultural
There is a boom. Yes, there is, especially for, you know, Black books, you know, Black authors writing Black books for our children. Because I go in Target now and Walmart, and you see so many books by, you know, authors of color, and I was shocked myself. So yes.
Oh, your granddaughter wants to know why you can't hear her.
I know all my kids, grandkids, great grandkids, they listening in, right?
But she says she loves you.
That probably Destiny or Deja, probably Deja.
Your granddaughter Izzy said.
Yes.
Izzy, that's Izzy from Las Vegas. Yeah, she's here visiting right now.
Oh, that's nice.
So what are some of the challenges that you have with your Peace and Freedom Committee?
Challenges is reaching our people of color. We get grants through Marion Community Foundation, United Way, Rotary Club. I mean, they support us, but when we have our events, it's just reaching that audience of people of color. Back in the day, Marion used to have Black neighborhoods. We had the West Side, we had the North Side, we had the Northeast. And now everybody, everybody, like the Jeffersons moving on up.
Yes.
Everybody wants to move to a different neighborhood. So we no longer have Black neighborhoods. We don't have bars, nightclubs. We don't have any of that anymore. So if you have a church, we have Black churches. So if you don't work with someone, if you don't go to church with them, you don't see them because we have nothing else here. So it's hard reaching our people of color to support us.
So what do you do for fun? Or what do you do for community?
There's nothing here. We go to church. We go to church and home. We go to Columbus a lot. Unless a church is having an church anniversary, a pastor's anniversary, but we just don't have anything here anymore.
Wow.
And that's one of the unfortunate outcomes of dispersal when our communities were no longer cohesive altogether.
Right.
That happened all over the country, and probably more impactful in a small city like yours, where the population was already very small.
Right.
And it was at least together before, but now
it was
because people
were so separated.
Yeah, people have options, and then with the options, you really become separate. That's kind of the way that is. I don't know. You have to find a way back to each other in other forms. A lot of times, one thing that did survive that era there are 3 institutions, and I did some research on this for my first book. The 3 institutions that survived integration were the church, the Black church, the funeral business, and the beauty shop and barbershop. Because you still want somebody Black to do your hair. I mean, these are
right.
Different. The church experience is different.
Right.
And funerals, that's the church experience too. That's with death. So and it's just a difference in culture that we were able to retain. But a lot of the other things, most everything else, we lost. But there are some things springing up. There's people doing all kinds of innovative things. There seems to be a renaissance in entrepreneurship among some of the younger, like the millennials, and they seem to really have a heart for entrepreneurship, which is good.
This is true.
Yes.
Yeah, even
this is what we're trying to do, is bring the young people, because all of us Peace and Freedom Committee members, we're up in age. We want to bring the younger people in because they're going to draw that generation in that we can't.
That's true. Young people like to be with young people. It's kind of like when Facebook first started, everybody was on it. But then Facebook became this place where old people are, according to my daughter.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they say.
I say it's the mature people who have, they're settled, they have income, and they're literate. So it's a different audience than Instagram or TikTok.
Right.
So
yes,
but it's all good. So are you all accepting any new authors, or outside of Marion, are you accepting any books or book proposals from people outside of Marion?
Not right now. We're basically trying to focus on sustaining. Like I said, we a lot of grant money from Marion Community Foundation, United Way, Rotary Club. So one of the questions on the applications, what are you doing to financially sustain yourself? So this is where the book publication comes in. This is money that's going to help sustain us. So we're still looking for that signature event, because we have the speech contest, we have the Martin Luther King breakfast, the Hats Off to You ladies luncheon. We do the
It sounds
Chucks
like
and
great
Pearls
events.
fundraiser. So we have a lot of events, but we need that signature event where we can like make maybe $20,000, $30,000. So we're still trying to figure that piece out.
Okay. Well,
when you find out, let me know so I can adopt the idea too. I want to make $10,000.
yeah, right. Maybe we can do an add-on for the festival.
Yes.
Just bringing in, if you bringing in that kind of money, that would be great.
We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out.
Well, we wish you the best, and we know you're gonna do it because you put your mind to this and you created something huge. I'm looking at the comments right now. You have a lot of support, a lot of love. And so with that type of support, I don't see anything but you continuing to grow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being a guest on Black Authors Matter TV, and continued success for the Peace and Freedom Committee and all the policies that you have under your umbrella.
And I will continue to watch your show. I love it. Learn so much, and I just appreciate you guys.
Thank you. And by the way, we did put your links in the chat. There's a link to the Peace and Freedom organization, and then there's also a link to your book. So if you would like to support the book, which in turn supports the organization, just click the link. I posted it under my name, Rhonda Lawson. Just click the link and you can purchase the book.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Thank you. You too.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night.